Mic check. Okay. Hey, Mark, how you doing?
Good. Hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay.
Okay, so we were talking earlier about how we wanted to change things up in the theme song. The theme song we had before, I don't know, what was the issue with that?
Somebody complimented us and said a couple old guys having a good time. I can dig that. I'm like, hell with you!
What do you mean? Does this sound like old guy's song?
Well, kind of, but it sounds cool, I think. But
All
we
right.
don't want to sound like old guys.
All right, so what are we going to do next? What we're going to do... Ow! Technical
We
difficulty
need
here.
Lady Gaga or something. Whatever the hell.
All right, so let's test out some new theme songs.
Okay.
You ready? All right, here we
Yeah.
go. Let's try this one. Yeah, little Jerry Lee Lewis.
Okay.
Rock and roll.
Relatively new. Yeah. Sounds good to me,
All right.
but
How about next one?
still sounds old.
How about this one?
Hola. Immigration
next.
Airwaves.
All right. How about this one? To be cowboys. Kenny Rogers. Kenny G
You have to
sounds
give
like.
romantic advice.
All right, none of that. All right, next. Oh, yeah. When I was down and broke,
Does this one have a guitar in it?
didn't have a dollar, begging on the streets
Your little. Oh,
of Fresno.
I can't hear myself anymore.
All right,
I can't hear myself anymore.
yeah, it's still going on.
Oh, they can hear me, but
Yeah, I think I screamed too loud is what it was.
that
If you
the
scream
window
too,
came up.
yeah, if you scream too loud, the window comes up.
Oh,
So I
your
should-
little friend there trying to press buttons.
Hey, what are you doing?
Come on, say something, little birdie.
Say something.
Little birdie on the keyboard.
Don't be shy.
She's a sweet little thing. Whoops. Trying to escape with her life. There you go. That's not a sound effect.
All right, so
That's a
next
real
one-
bird.
Next one is oh, those tossed salads and scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Frazier.
I don't think we're making a lot of progress.
All right, let's go back to the rock and roll one.
Okay.
All right, let's start the show. A one,
Yeah.
a two, a 1, 2, 3. Yeehaw!
Oh, this is the guy that married the 13-year-old?
That was his cousin.
Oh, okay. Oh, he married his cousin.
Didn't go over well in England.
No. Well,
Great balls!
she eventually
great
hit
balls of
puberty and
I said I married my cousin. Yeah.
well, somebody had to marry her.
She was hot.
Yeah. Afraid she'd become an old maid.
All right.
She's going on 14, so you can only wait so long.
You know this for a fact?
Well, yeah.
Okay, how so?
13. It was big news 40 years ago.
And big news back
Jerry-
when I was a boy.
Jerry Lee Lewis, right?
When I had an onion on my belt because it was the fashion at the time.
Dean Martin advised against it, but he didn't. He
Hey,
didn't
let
listen
me
to
tell you
his
something, Jerry Lee Lewis. Don't do it. Yeah, right, kiddo. Yeah.
partner. Exactly.
Fly me to the moon.
Yeah. I can't think of much to say. I mean, he liked the intergenerational thing, I guess.
just keep it in the family,
Yeah.
relatively speaking.
Keep it in the 13-year-old and the family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty then.
Oh, well, speaking of inappropriate sex, you're bringing up that comedian, Aziz Hamad Ahmad, or whatever his name is.
Right. So there was some piece that was written about him. In fact, I think just yesterday, about from this woman's point of view. I don't remember the periodical that it came out in, but I think it's one of those, socialista BS.
Yeah, some chick site or something.
Some chick site.
I barely saw it, but
Anyway, so apparently she had met Aziz at some Golden Globe Award where he was taking pictures with an old-fashioned camera, and she had mentioned, I guess she was a photographer in New York, and they had got to talking about what type of camera it was, and one thing led to another, and he agreed to put her number in his phone, and she had texted him a couple days later, and they get together, and apparently they liked each other. And now she claimed that he was at the some boat dinner type thing. It's on the river or whatever.
Oh, riverboat.
Right, and that he wanted to get out of there as soon as possible, and she felt kind of uncomfortable about that. And
Probably a bunch of lame white people in there.
Yes, we're on a boat,
Okay.
darling, and we're eating steak.
oh, the height of fashion. Indeed.
We can diss white people as much as we want. And they give me a lot of trouble. But I don't want to interrupt the story. Sorry.
Nice.
Get to the sex
nice,
part.
Nice non sequitur. Anyway, so apparently they're in the car, and they start kissing each other, and I guess that was okay. And there was some oral sex involved from either of them, back and forth.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, this is what she's writing, and it was given and received willingly. And to get back to
Did you say she offered it to him, or is that the story? Or did-
according to the article, he kind of like pointed to his crotch and said, "Hey." But of course, it's all written from.
I'm a big star.
He doesn't talk like that.
This is your lucky day.
No, he doesn't talk
No?
like that.
I don't know. I don't know who he is.
He doesn't have an accent, but he can. I think he can fake one really well.
Probably
But
better than me.
what the hell are you talking about? This is not a laughing matter.
Yeah.
So, I guess they're in the limousine, and they get back to the apartment, and he's kind of like, "Hey, baby, where do you want to, do it?" And and again, I, while this is going on, according to her article, they're still going back and forth with everything but actual coitus.
So they're touching each other in
Right.
their private areas.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
So,
It's gotta
but
be clear.
anyway, at some point, I guess she felt very uncomfortable, and she, in the article, said that absolutely, no, whatever. And it looks like he kind of respected that, but was also kind of maybe didn't just stop it right there. In other words, saying like, "Hey, are you sure?" That type of thing. And well, anyway, he ended up calling her an Uber, and she said she got in the Uber and she cried all the way home. So this is a very interesting, story in the sense of obviously no means no, but at the same time, she pursued him. She was the one, and she knew who he was. I mean, come on. And they're living in New York.
Gold digging little hussy.
I don't know about that, but it just makes it sound. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Here she is. They're kissing on each other for a long time, and then they're doing oral, and there's no problem with that. But suddenly there's, when there's, I guess, coitus involved. But that's fine. And like I said, she said no. But she's
Per Bill Clinton,
Right.
everything up until the coitus is not sex.
the bottom line is she's calling for his head and calling him a sex abuser because he made her feel uncomfortable. But I think the question, was that abuse or was it consensual? Or we weren't there, but I mean, the way that she made it sound like it wasn't, I guess, over the top. There was a respect of the word given. I don't know.
He was unable to turn his desire off like with a flip of the switch. Like, she said stop, and he's like, "Come on, jeez," right? Something like that.
Well, she's making it sound
bit.
like, she says she's crying like on the way home in her Uber, like, "I hate men. All men are scum."
Gotta be a lesbian.
But I mean, like, I don't know. At one point, what did you think was going to happen? You pursued him. You went out. You performed in those acts with each other, and including kissing. And then at some point, that because he desires you, To go further, suddenly he's a beast. He's a creature.
Can the word slut be used on this podcast?
Slept?
Slut.
Well,
No.
I guess it just has been.
Not like I heard somebody say.
Give me a choice. I feel violated.
Somebody said if you don't want to be treated like a slut, you shouldn't act like a slut. And
Well, I mean, there's nuances to that. I mean,
nobody around here said that.
I think there's nuances to that. I don't think it's a cut and dried thing, and there's certainly something to be said for slut, quote unquote, shaming. You know, you shouldn't automatically assume that. So I'm reading this article and I'm thinking, I'm trying to keep an open mind, not trying to assume anything. But I after reading the article, this is her own words, by the way. I kind of walked away feeling like this was really one-sided a little bit, and I don't think it merits the same type of gravity as like a Harvey Weinstein, where there was clear rape going on, and it just sounded like a hit piece. I could be wrong. He could be a total jerk, but I mean, it's just on the face of it, it sounded like a hit piece, and not just because it was a woman complaining about a man behaving badly. It was, it was just the way that things proceeded, according to the article, that made me feel that way.
It doesn't sound that bad. Sounds like sort of a normal guy-girl behavior in those circumstances. Alcohol and and
normal guy-girl behavior is getting a BJ on the first date after you just met someone. That's kind of
for certain liberals.
Is it?
That's what liberals like to do.
Wait a minute. I don't think that action
It's not political.
is the realm only of someone with a specific political affiliation. Don't you think? What do you think? What do you think? A conservative?
Well,
no, Mary Lou, we shouldn't, because God would punish us and smite us to hell.
You're talking about the trailer park now, so which can be conservative, but they're a little looser.
I'm sorry, Mary Lou. Before we have coitus, I must have at least 3 scotches, and you must unbutton my suit vest very slowly. Yes, while I recite Ronald Reagan's greatest hits.
You gotta have class, when you're gonna do the dirty.
Well, there you go again, Nancy.
Here I come again.
Give it to me. Oh my goodness.
Give it to me, baby.
Break it down.
Okay. So yeah, it sounds like she's expected too much from the relationship, I guess. She was upset that he
what relationship?
treated her like a
hookup.
Like a hookup. It was a hookup, and he acted like it was a hookup, and treated her like a hookup, and she didn't like it.
Again, this is like the whole thing with the shitholes. If you have a fat, if your friend's wife is fat, you can't say she's fat. You can't. Oh, Mrs. So and So, or Tina, you look great. That's a very very becoming dress.
Behind closed doors, you might. And then some femme liberal will come out and rat you out.
Well, guess what? Hey, guess what, Mark? Being the president is not a cupcake sundae. Okay, there are people out to get you. So in that logic, you can assume that everything that you say as president is going to be snatched up and leaked by someone. So he fucked up. He's learning on the job. No, he's not. He's getting a lot better. Have you noticed?
No. No, me neither.
I have not noticed he's gotten better. I've noticed he's remained the same attitude about everything. Like, I'm not going to change the way that I talk to people. So F you, you deplorable.
He goes through his stages. He gets a little better, and then he relapses, and he can't help himself. And the liberals, I guess, are just going to have to be enraged. And if the economy stays
good, is he just a lovable little scamp that he's misunderstood? We should pinch his cheeks.
He's a good old boy billionaire.
No, someone look. Even if a Republican from his own party should walk up to his office and just without saying a word slap the piss out of him. Okay, because that's what he needs. He needs to shut the F up.
Well, he's a very strong, powerful man. They're afraid of him. Who's going to take him? He's 6'2" and like 240 pounds. Big guy.
What are you talking about? How old is he? He's like 70.
70 going on 50.
Yeah, right. You punch. Please, come on.
Did you see the one time where somebody tried to charge him on the stage and he turned around and got into a attack stance? Secret Service or whatever carried the guy off, but he was ready to take him on. He no pussy.
I'm ready to slab you, body slam like I did at WWF.
Exactly. And he's not a pussy, and I can use that word. Even though Susan said I shouldn't use that word. But it's got a dual meaning. It doesn't mean female genitalia when I'm using it. I normally use that word to mean a feminine guy, a wimpy guy. So
It has multiple meanings. You know that, right?
yeah,
Okay.
like some words that they're spelled exactly
can
the
mean a
same, but they have
cat.
different.
It can mean a woman's genitalia in the vernacular of slang.
Yeah.
A little bawdry.
Or it can mean a liberal.
But it's also a word that we use to rob the power of our fellow men. And to say that you're not as masculine, you're somehow of the other, which is to say that women are weak.
Yeah.
And so, by that logic. So, yeah, is it a cool word? No. But do we say it? It's hysterical as fuck. So there's the dichotomy of
I like
being
it.
a
Talking
man
about
and a woman.
words of the year from Trump. Somebody said on one of the Facebook things that shithole may be the word of the year this year, but I hate that word. And I'm not really big on pussy either, but it's better than the other one.
You've heard it first here. Mark
Okay.
has said that he's not big on pussy.
Hello, Thaler.
Why do you think I hang out with you all the time?
Hey now.
Yeah. And all these cool collectibles you have.
Look,
are nice.
wait. That's different than being gay. Okay. Having Star
Okay.
Wars collectibles just means you're a virgin. Okay.
Oh, well, what about the unicorns?
I don't have any unicorns, you lying. Well, I do have the fist of Thanos
Yeah.
that is bejeweled,
Uh,
but that's different.
what Fist of Thanos? Well, I don't know what that is.
The fisting of Thanos. Yeah, that's right.
It looks pretty
Fist
clean
of
for being a
Thanos.
fisting fist.
And it's coming up in the next Marvel
Is that from a
movie.
comic book?
Yes. A
Who the hell
kick-ass.
has ever heard of that? Fist of Thanos.
Who the
It's sort of
hell
like
has
Thor.
ever heard of that? I don't know what's going on. Who am I? What am I? What year is this? See, the bird
Does-
agrees with me.
Is this thing sort of like the Thor's hammer? Like this fist has got all kinds of power.
No,
it
it
can
is
hit the
not-
ground and the earth
No,
quakes.
sir.
No?
No, sir. It is not
It's a gay
just
thing, then.
like Thor's hammer.
It's from San
Mjolnir.
Francisco.
No. Bad
No.
mark. No. The
That's a pretty big fist too. I don't-
the Infinity Gauntlet it contains all 5 Infinity Stones, the stones that were created when the world and universe was born,
Okay.
and they have unlimited, magnificent power.
Yeah.
And once you have all 5 of them, I mean,
Okay, is it Wonder Woman?
no,
No,
Thanos.
But look at those jewels.
The leader, the ruler of the universe by his own hand. Man, don't you even
What's he do with his own hand?
see?
Oh, okay. That's his.
The piano does
background.
not like your dissing of Thanos.
People should see this though. It looks like it's a gloved fist that's about the size of what was that giant guy that was in Princess Bride? You know that actor that was literally a giant.
Andre the Giant.
Okay, looks like a hand about the size of his with a yellow glove on it, and on the knuckles there are jewels, and where the index finger is, it's a yellow jewel, I guess. Then the middle finger's blue.
It's
then
awesome.
Purple. Then,
Oh crap! My bird just took a crap on the piano.
huh? Well,
Here,
it's
I'm
our
gonna
first
have to-
review.
I'm gonna have to scrape that off and put it in your drink.
My drink is safe over here on the other side of the studio behind 2 sheets of bulletproof glass. Oh, you put it on the candy bar wrapper? Yeah. Okay.
Okay. He needs more fiber in his diet.
Huh. Yeah. Okay, but you do have a V for Vendetta mask, but it's a little made up. What is that stuff on the eyes? Is that in the original movie? That it's got little curly hues coming off the side of the eyes.
That's in the original movie. Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I do
This
like
is
V for Vendetta.
This is an exact replica. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Appeals to everyone who
He
dislikes
ain't no pussy.
who dislikes tyranny.
Yes.
Yeah.
So liberals probably don't like that movie too much. You know, there are some liberals that hate the spying part of the government, but they do love big government, other than the spying part.
Okay. Why is that?
They want government to give them things, and then they want to be completely autonomous and not expect anything, not expect the government to expect anything back from them. I guess.
What does that look like? What's a good example of that in action?
Well, welfare people, playing on the computer all day, not wanting the government to spy on what they're doing while the government's paying for everything. I don't know.
So, in other words, what you're saying is that everyone on welfare is just sucking the teat of the dole. Is that what you're trying to say? Everyone?
Those, if I could only come up with those words myself, then I could be in your chair instead of this little high chair over here.
You said it, man, not me.
You're in the high chair. Would you
Keep
like
going.
some applesauce?
Keep me in this little corner. At least I've got my beverage.
That's right, and all the Star Wars figures to keep you
They're
company.
staring at me. Did you rearrange them? They're all facing me now.
I did. Now they're all in the different.
Every time I look, they're
diorama.
a little closer.
That's right. At night they come alive on their own. They're
You
like,
got-
Mark, get him.
Start marching toward, like some movie where these zombie creatures would just keep walking toward. It came out a couple years ago. It passed on from one person to the next. One person would die, and they'd walk towards the other person, even if they were miles away and there were rivers in the way. They just keep on walking through the river, and they knew they could drive away. I mean, the good guy or the people not wanting to be the victim, but eventually the zombie would always catch them because they never got tired. That's what these figurines do.
Is that?
In
or
case
so,
you forgot what I was talking about, like I
or
did.
so you feel so in your dreams.
Yeah. And people should know you have your little birdie on your shoulder.
I do.
She's a cute little girl.
How you doing?
Kiwi is her name.
No. Soda.
You
Kiwi was the other one.
what?
That Kiwi passed away.
What?
I ate her.
No. Okay.
I wanted some barbecue, and
So she passed away.
so this
under the
is
knife.
this is Kiwi 2.0.
Okay.
This is Soda, and she is a sun conure from South America.
Okay. Is there much truth to what you're saying?
Yes.
Kiwi. Where's Kiwi? How could Kiwi pass
Kiwi
away?
passed away
When?
about a month ago.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I did not know that. I don't even know this bird then.
So it
I've
was.
been friendly, and
I know, right?
this bird's like, get the F away from me.
I don't know you.
Yeah.
Get away from my purse. No. The bird number one we had a cold snap, and I had left the cage out, and the bird wanted to get warm, and so climbed up the stairs and jumped into bed with me, and I rolled over on it.
Oh, you did tell me that, but I thought you were talking about something from a couple of years ago.
No.
Oh, that was Kiwi?
Yeah, that was
Kiwi died? Oh.
Yep.
Oh, I'm
So-
sorry. Dang.
Yep. And then fired up the barbecue. And,
Of course.
'cause, you cannot
Circle of life.
You cannot waste the pelted meat.
Mm-hmm.
And made the feathers into a hat.
Stay warm. It's cold
That's
out
right.
there.
And I had a little skewer.
And stylish.
That's right. Kiwi would have wanted it that way.
Mm.
Kiwi would have wanted me to dip its body into barbecue sauce
And little butter.
and a little
Melted butter. Hmm.
And so
Well, that's rough.
yeah,
I'm glad I'm not Kiwi. Or maybe I wish I was Kiwi. I don't know.
nice life if you can get it.
Yeah.
I mean, until Daddy rolls over on you.
Oh.
So that's what she said. Anyway, so what else is in the news?
Well, we didn't. Should we talk about the captive children?
Oh.
Everybody else is talking about it, but
Okay, so Mark had turned me on to this story where apparently in the city of Paris, California, which is not too far from Los Angeles, approximately 60 miles southeast, it was discovered by way of a teenage woman who ran to the police station, and she was in ragged, malnourished condition, saying that her parents and her whole family of 12 children were being held captive.
12 other children.
Other children.
13 total.
Ages, and now this is crazy, ages 2 to 29.
Yeah.
Now that's some serious brainwashing. So the police storm the place, and they find just kids living in filth and squalor and piles of trash and poo
And shackled.
and kids shackled to beds and various objects
Yeah.
throughout the home. I defies explanation.
How could this happen in America? You know, and how could nobody know that there's 13 siblings in there, and they never get to go outside, I guess, or
Did they
how
go
could
to
there-
school? Did you hear anything about that?
I don't, not that I've heard. They've been trapped in there for years. That's my
That's-
understanding.
I mean, I understand the concept of Stockholm syndrome,
Yeah.
but this goes way beyond that. I mean, 29 years old and you're still, I mean, is it? And they never went to school?
No, I guess. Well, I don't know. I just read one article, and it didn't seem like there was. You'd think if they had gone to school, or if there were birth records or anything, that the government would go, well, where are these kids? But nobody's ever checked in all these years. There's going to be some kind of a government scandal probably on how the government missed this. But I guess I can't think of anything funny to say about this. This is horrific.
Well, I think one of the key questions is it legal to not enroll your kids in school? I mean, how do they know? Is there an agency or a mechanism set up that if I had a child, for example, and that child was of kindergarten age, and I didn't essentially let anybody know about it, I kept my kid basically under wraps, who would know? There's nobody. I don't think there's anybody keeping up on that.
Right. Well, there is. I don't know. There's a homeschooling clause, and we homeschooled our kids, me and that gal I used to be married to, for a while, and so they start out in homeschool. I don't know what happens if you start in school and then you take them out of school.
Oh, this is a great opportunity. Okay, Mark, if you would, for some people who do not homeschool, I've always been very kind of interested by that concept because, first of all, how do you keep the discipline? How do you do the subjects? How does that even work? Could you describe to me, like, what would a typical day of homeschooling be for your kids?
Well, we'd get the Bible out and read that for a couple hours and have the kids recite Bible verses, and that's not all true. Not true at all.
That was supposed to be my line. I was supposed to say that.
Okay.
That would have been more funny if I had said, well, we started off reading the Bible and then death to the infidels.
Yeah, we are Christians, but I don't recall. I mean,
really, I never would have even thought that.
Yeah, because I use the fuck word sometimes.
No, because you mentioned homeschooling. That's usually a tip off.
Well, the libs.
I won't having my kids learn about evolution and science in school and vaccinations.
We learned them right, and we taught them math, reading, writing, and arithmetic, and that's all
the Earth is only 6,000 years old.
Well, it is. Can you prove any different? I mean,
yes, definitively I can
that Grand
prove.
Canyon happened from the flood. Everybody knows that. The flood created the Grand. That's very soft material there. I was able to erode in just like a couple of years after the flood. Yes, sir. No, we taught. The cool thing is, it only took like from 8 a.m. to 11:30 or noon or something. We had all subjects covered. We bought all these books from. Maybe it's called Abeka.
Okay.
This is 10 or 12 years ago, so it's hard to remember. But we schooled them on everything that was necessary. And we also schooled them on the correct political views and correct views on gender.
The correct views.
Well, yeah, the true views. But it really wasn't... You can't... Oh, this is bringing back old memories.
I'm sorry, please continue.
Well, there was... It's hard to remember, but math, English, science, I don't know what else, but they had to do little essays. They were pretty young. Like, my boy was, 4 or 5, 6... Oh, we didn't homeschool them at first. First, they went to this Christian school. Ventura Missionary Bible, something like that. It had a church and a school. And then we decided to try to homeschool them. Only 1 year. So I'm kind of mixed up.
It sounds like
it wasn't that it wasn't that hard. And I helped because I wasn't working for a few months there. And my wife had a bit of a hard time because they wouldn't mind. But they would mind me. They were actually happier when I was around because with her they could get around, they could be brats and act crazy, and nobody was happy. And when I was there, everybody would mind. And my one girl, Holly, she would act like she couldn't do math, but I knew she was smart. And I go, "Come on, Holly, I know you can do this. You know you can do this. Can you please just figure out this equation or whatever?" And then she did it all in her head and blurted out the answer. She just liked the attention though, so. That's my homeschool story. So yeah, it was only one year or semester or something. We bought all these books and then we decided to move to Wyoming. So
Now, what was it about the whole concept of homeschooling did appeal to you most? What was the defining moment where you said, you know what, that's it? I'm
it
pulling
was
my
cost.
kid. What?
Cost. It was all cost. The Ventura Missionary Bible Church or whatever it was, it cost about $900 a month for the 3 kids. And in the early 2000s, that's kind of a chunk. I believe that's about what it was for the 3 kids. So we just thought we'd buy the books and purchase the books and give it a try. And it was kind of a cool experience.
Okay.
Mom, Lisa would have had a hard time doing it without me, though. But anyway.
But you weren't specifically opposed to the public school in what they were teaching.
Well, yeah, they never went to public school till later. We started them out at that Bible school.
You
It wasn't
started
Bible
them out
school.
in the missionary
It wasn't
position?
Bible school. Prostate. It wasn't a... they did teach some scripture at that school, but it was mostly reading, writing, and arithmetic.
It was the wrong kind of Christianity.
Yeah.
The one that leads them on the road to hell.
I don't know if this is really that interesting of a topic.
I think it is.
Really? You
Yeah,
think other
because-
people want to hear this?
Well, yeah. Well, why do people pull their children out of religious schools? I mean, people have lots of reasons. They don't feel the public schools is serving their children, or they object to some of the material that is being presented. Perhaps they feel that they're being indoctrinated into statism or anti-religiosity, or who knows? Or they just feel that maybe the public schools are not providing an adequate enough education. We hear every day about less teachers for more students, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
What was the class size when you were in elementary school?
25 to 27, 28, something like that, as I recall. One more thing on the homeschool thing, or the Bible school, whatever. We talked to this
Wait a minute.
girl-
Were they both the same thing?
No,
We shall now
getting
begin
all
with
mixed
a
up.
prayer.
There's homeschool.
Death to the infidels, and Lord, pass the ammunition. Amen.
Yeah.
No?
Didn't really teach the kids about firearms back then. That came a little later. But
Not until you're 12. Then you get to have your
Yeah.
first Desert Eagle.
One time when my daughter was about 11. Speaking of, you nailed it, Desert Eagle.
Eagle!
I had a Desert Eagle 44 caliber, which is not the 50 caliber. It's not quite as big as the one you see in the Matrix or whatever, but it was
Still will
pretty,
blow your
pretty
head off at
damn
the
big.
kneecaps.
And my wife and we went out somewhere, and we were in Wyoming. And geez, maybe I should not tell this story. But I left the.
I'm
all
pretty
we
sure
had- we
that
had
the
a-
authorities are not listening to our stupid fucking podcast going,
Probably not.
the
It
prosecutor.
wasn't that big a deal. I don't think this thing was loaded. Probably not. But I left it with my daughter, and she was the eldest of the 3. She was 11 or 12. The other ones were a couple years younger. And I go, here, take this Desert Eagle, which is a gigantic handgun. It's a pistol. For people that don't know, it has a clip.
Right.
It's not a revolver. It's got the clip that you pop out and add more bullets to.
It's a hand cannon is what it is.
Yeah. And she had to hold it with both hands just to pick it up. And I go, now, Jacqueline, if anybody barges into our hotel room while me and Mom, went to dancing or something, you
Blast that cracker.
You point this at them and tell the other kids, plug your ears. And I thought that would make it seem serious because those things are so
Tell
loud.
the other kids.
Because to plug their ears, not their eyes, but that thing would be pretty hard on your hearing.
Why would she be telling the other kids to why would there be other kids there?
Well, her younger brother and sister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you had a dedicated hiding space for a Desert Eagle 44.
This is when we moved to Wyoming, and before our house was ready, we had to stay in the hotel for a while. So this is our hotel room. I go, here, Jacqueline, take the Desert Eagle, the DE 44, and if anybody busts in, point this at him, yell to the other kids, plug your ears. Meaning, hopefully
and then
that would
atomize him.
that would imply to the crooks that Jacqueline was serious, wasn't going to shoot the thing.
Yeah.
But she was not going to shoot the thing. If it was, I don't think it was loaded, and if it was, she wouldn't have been able to pull the slide back anyway. So I know there was definitely not a bullet in the chamber. Tell you that, people.
Okay, that's irresponsible parenting right there, because you should have
were young.
you should have pulled back the slide and had it
Got
cocked
it
and ready to
already.
go with the safety off.
Well,
So-
we did have a crossbow, two crossbows for the younger kids, so but they weren't allowed to use anything with gunpowder yet. So
Are you kidding? The kids had kids had
no,
crossbows.
not really. They did have little bows and arrows, not probably in the room to use on crooks, but starter bows and arrows.
Yeah.
So
And where were you and Mom?
we went to I don't know, just
What's your daughter's name again?
to a sports bar or something like that. What the daughter?
Yeah,
Jacqueline.
Jacqueline.
Yeah.
Now, Jacqueline, I want you to take this 44 and point it at any person that comes in the motel room while Mom and Dad go out and have a couple drinks. And we'll be watching. We'll be getting our freak on and coming back. So you know how rednecks that story sounds.
Yeah. Well, I kind of am a redneck.
Kind of.
Lisa's a California girl, so it was a little odd to her, but she kind of trusted me for some reason.
Right.
So, but she didn't like guns. But Jacqueline does like guns. We just took her out shooting a couple days ago. She's 22 now, and we shot a bigger gun. One of them, it's a semi-automatic rifle. I mean, the liberals like to call them assault rifles, but they're more for defense, if you know what I'm talking
Assault
about.
rifles.
Yeah. So we rented an AK-47 knockoff, and they're cool guns. So, and they're more powerful than the AR-15s that everybody loves, the AR-15s, but the AKs actually are more powerful.
Could you describe for our listeners what it's like to go to a range and what you have to do? What's the procedure? What's the day like? Describe like as if I were there.
Well, we go to this place out of town here, about 10 miles out San Francisquito. What a name. Who thought of that name? Road. And there's a shooting place called A Place to Shoot, unquote. And it's dirt. You go out there and it's a nice paved road, but then you have to turn left on this dirt road. And it's right over the hill. And I'm contradicting myself on something, but I don't want to tell you what. But anyway, it's a nice place to shoot. You go to the office, which is an old storage container, that they've made into an office.
Uh-huh.
Pretty low budget, but it's cheap. It cost like it only was like $30 for the three of us.
Oh.
We brought our own ammo. And they provide hearing protection and and eye protection.
Ear goggles.
Yeah. And we went up to the rifle range and shot the AK. And Jacqueline, well, so I'm not okay. The rifle range, everything's just a bunch of dirt everywhere. So the cool range is Oak Tree. Is that what it's called? Kind of in town.
Oh, I love that. Oh, yeah,
just off the
Oak Tree
5.
Gun Club. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the ghetto range that we go to. But it's neat. You go out of town and it's a little easier to be yourself, So we
Do they
set up,
serve espresso out there?
no, nope, Bud Light, that's all.
Okay.
Drinking and shooting, that's a good time.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, I'm kidding. I've never done that. That's true. I've never I don't want anything to do with alcohol and guns at the same time.
Right?
So, yeah.
Because if that happens.
I'd shoot myself first off shoot my foot immediately.
So tell me about the visceral feeling of shooting. How does it feel to shoot a firearm, a deagle?
It's pretty good. The 44 caliber I had, I sold it because it was actually too big. In Wyoming, you can carry guns without a permit, and this thing was gigantic. It weighed close to 5 pounds or something, which was like 4.5 pounds, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when you carry that thing around, it's super heavy, and it makes you walk crooked. You end up walking in circles. But I went out and I shot fence posts, and 4x4, pretty heavy wood. I don't know what it was. It was not pine. It was heavier than pine, and almost every bullet went through the fence post. It was about 4x4 or 5x5. And it's cool, but I'm not a super gun fanatic. I don't get off on guns. They're like a fire extinguisher to me. You only need them in an emergency. So I want to be prepared. I want to know how to shoot them. Yeah. Okay. Boy, I sure am prattling on. But you asked
Well,
questions.
I think that's all
Well,
the time
let's-
we have for today.
Let me finish up with my daughter on the AK-47 because it's
Okay.
kind of interesting.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
She wanted to shoot that. Yeah, it's a semi-automatic. It's like the AR-15, but less wimpy.
Yeah.
So people always slam the ARs, but they really should go after AKs because they're badass. But they're pretty cheap. They're cheaper than the ARs. The ammo's cheap, and they're more powerful, slightly less accurate. So the only thing, they're kind of ghetto guns, sort of, but they get the job done. Anyway, we set my daughter up, and they've got benches out there. You can sit down, and they've got blocks of wood with carpet on the blocks so you can rest the gun on. I go, Jacqueline, just try shooting at that hill over there. And because if you hit the dirt, you can see where the bullets hit. If you go for a target and it's 100 yards away, you can't really see where you're hitting. So the first shot, she was holding it right, her left hand under the, I don't know. See, I don't even know enough about guns. I'm not an expert on them. She had her left hand up forward and the right hand on the pistol grip area with the trigger.
Yeah.
And she goes, is the kick really bad? And I go, well, you shot the 30-30, right? And the 30-30 is like a cowboy gun. It's got that, how do you describe a 30-30? You know how to, that thing that you pull like this and close to get the bullet to come from the
Right. Lever action.
lever action. That's what it is. See, I don't know about guns too much. Anyway, she was afraid the kick was going to be really nasty. I go, it's not like the 30-30. So she goes, okay. She got down there, and she finally shot it. She got her nerve up, and she was shaking. She wanted to do this, mind you. We didn't make her do this at all. She's been
Right.
wanting to do this for a year. She finally shot it, and she went, oh! And she was stunned, and she let go of the rifle with her left hand, but it just fell down onto the little bench. And she's holding it with her right hand, and she was looking at us afraid.
Yeah.
Me and my son. And we go, Jacqueline, hold on to the rifle. Don't act afraid. But we were on the far end of the range, away from the monitor, range masters or whatever they call them.
Yeah.
So nobody saw that she kind of freaked out. And then she went on to shoot it a total of 8 more times.
Wow.
But she liked it. And she goes, I only shot it 9 times, 9 shells. But don't think I didn't like it. I'm glad we came out. I enjoyed it. And then we went and shot our little 9mm pistol. And she likes that a lot. She shot like 30 or 40 rounds through it. So it's a Smith & Wesson M&P Shield.
Uh-huh.
It's a 9mm, but it's a small 9mm. So it's lighter. But anyway.
Right.
Okay. That's my gun story.
Hey, great story, man. That was awesome.
Cool story,
Thank you.
bro.
Cool start, bro.
Okay.
All right. So, and now I think at this point, before we have some dead air,
Oh yeah, right.
Soda, you want to say anything?
Oh yeah, there you go.
Say something.
She's trying to bite the
Say it.
the foam cover on the. Oh, she's getting mad. And you don't know if this is a she either, right?
Not yet. No, I don't
Okay. What's her name again?
know. Soda. It
Soda.
means sky.
Okay.
Just say soda.
Soda.
And you know what that music means, my friend?
We're fading out. Darn.
Thanks, everyone, for tuning in for today's episode. Today's episode was brought to you by Campbell's Soup and the letter Q.
And Captain Morgan spiced rum.
And shithole countries around the world.
Yeah. And Paris, California. Jeez.
And Paris, California,
Yeah.
with 12 kids locked down.
They needed guns.
Oh, yeah.
Give it to me, baby.
What?
Give it to me, baby. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Oops.
Okay.